Good evening, I'm Bob Moore, and it is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. Tonight I'd like to talk about how I made a change from playing C-sharp D box 2-row to a 3-row C-sharp D C box, and the reasons why I did that. I'd also like to comment on two people who have been a tremendous help to me in terms of playing the music, both on the type of instrument as well as learning how to play it. And one of the first is Doug Creighton at buttonbox.com. And he helped me at the very beginning on choosing concertinas that I could, learn to play. And all the way through, every time I hit some point of frustration and wanted to move on, he would be there to help me. He was always great help at buttonbox.com. The other is Ken Fleming, who himself and his organizations helped me learn to play the music over the years. He hosted, before the virus, he hosted a session once a month at Trinity Hall in Dallas, and I would go there and play along. And then he created a 501c3 organization called Traditional Irish Music Education Society, abbreviated, TIMES. And with that, he started the O'Flaherty's Irish Music Retreat. And for, about 16, 17 years, that has been going on, and I've been going to it every October. Last weekend of October, and he would bring in, really fine musicians and instructors to teach us and help us play the music, both from Ireland and from the Northeast and from the Northwest, such as Randall Bays and Martin. I'm trying to remember now, but anyway, he had a lot of really good instructors, and so I learned a lot from that over the years, and it's been a tremendous help. So now, as far as the C-sharp D box goes, our friend Martin Hayes, the fiddler at Martin Hayes on the West Coast. Yeah, he's a very good instructor and very good musician. I really, you can really, learn a lot watching his ornaments and how he plays things. So this is a C-sharp D button box, and by that this row here on the outside is a C-sharp major scale. It has 7 notes in it. It has every sharp and flat in the scale, and so that's 5 of them, if you recall the piano and the black keys on a piano. 5 sharps and flats, which leaves 2 more that have to be naturals, which are in this case C natural and F natural. So that's the C sharp major scale. Here we have the D scale. Now the D scale, the D major scale, has 2 sharps in it, the C sharp and the F sharp. And we already have a C sharp and F sharp down here because this has all the sharps and flats. So I think of that as the crossover notes. So that's your C sharp there, and you push it here. So you've got a C sharp here on the pull and a C sharp here on the push, which gives you some options in terms of phrasing. Now, this is your F sharp, and that's your F sharp on the pull. So you have those 2 notes that you can choose from. If you don't like playing it up here, you can play it down here, which can be real handy, like I say, in phrasing. Now, the C-sharp D box is, it has a diatonic, bouncy kind of, thing to it. And if I play Kahneman's Rambles, you can kind of see how it bounces. But there's also a point in there where you can smooth it out with a crossover note. So it's going to be. Now there was a. Now we're bouncing that one. And I pulled through that last one, but you can pull through the front end. Or you can go all the way. I have gotten where I really don't want to pull too many notes. You kind of lose. There's a certain spirit, you might say, to the bounce that you would like to have in there, just not too much. So in that case, you can go. And so that's the way you can work this with a lot of other tunes as well, when you get in just the right position where those crossover notes are. Well, after a while I was getting kind of frustrated, particularly the G major tunes are a little more difficult to play on a C-sharp D box. And there's a certain amount of frustration there, but I figured, well, it is what it is, and I just went on with it. And then Ken, in one of the years of O'Flaherty's, Ken brought in a box play instructor, David Munley. And David shows up with a 2.5 row C-sharp D made by Salterell. And I have that here. He was really excited. Oh, I keep here. Let's look at this here. You will notice over here there are 8 bass notes. You can see, and there's 4 and 4. Now, David was real excited about the C-sharp D because he had 12 bass notes, as we can see right here. Let me just go ahead and put this on. But over here, you can see 6 on a row. Oops, hands wrong. 6 on a row, 12 bass notes, and he really liked that. And I got to looking at that and think, well, okay, let me think about that. Now, called up Doug Creighton again. You know, anytime I have a question about a box in itself. And we talked about it, and he said, well, he happened to have a previously owned Connemara 2, C-sharp D 2.5 row, which, this is it. And it was previously owned, so he could sell it to me for, reasonable price. And so I got it just to see what it was about. And I wasn't that keen, you might say, on the bass side over here. But I started, started working on here and realized that these notes were crossover notes down here. Anyway, yeah, they are crossover notes, and when I'm playing a tune, I can find them easily. But anyway, so I started, working with it, and so with Kahneman's Rambles, we can play it. Now I'll kind of go slow here. So you see, I'm going up here. And then we have that other crossover that's typical of any C-sharp D. Now I could have done it both ways, like that, but somehow I kind of like that sound. Again, putting a bounce in there every now and then, it sounds good. So that is how this, would work to smooth out the playing and get kind of rocking, flowing kind of sound to it. But there's only 4 of them here. There's nothing here. You know, if you get up on the high end, and there's nothing here. And of course down here in the lower, nothing here to help you. So that was, you know, kind of a problem. I'm looking at that and say, you know, I really would like to have a full 10-button row here where I could, all these notes would be supported by this, you know, in the other direction. And I get back with Doug, and this becomes quite a project and not just a casual conversation as we decide how we're going to do this. He got in touch with Salterell, which of course came up with this system in the first place, and they were real helpful in coming up with some other ideas. And they suggested a 3-row case that was light, relatively light, and kind of good for Irish music since Irish music plays fast. And it was called, what their case, they called the Arroish, Arroish case. And so we looked at getting that, and then, you know, what are we going to do to expand, you know, all the way across from what Salterell had started with those 4 notes. Well, the thought here was for every note that's in the D scale here, I wanted a note somewhere else in the opposite direction. Well, you recall that with the C sharps and the F sharps that are here, they're also down here. They're already there. I don't need them up here. All that's left are the naturals, which means this being all naturals is a C row, a C major scale. And so that simplified things pretty good, that thought process, that this is a C sharp, D, C box. And with that, you know, you can choose which direction you want the bellows to go in terms of creating the flow and the phrasing and then the ornaments. And so just like the other one, like that. And that is about all I would have to say about the box, how I got to this point, looking for a way to control the phrasing and the ornaments a little bit better than I was experiencing with the C sharp D box. So that's pretty much all I have to say on this video. I will be back with just playing some other tunes and putting them together in sets and kind of going over how I would do something. I'm not a champion player, but you kind of see some of the things I have in mind. So I thank you for if you're still watching. I thank you for sticking it out with me, and I'll be back.